gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
It's the one and only queen of receipts, the dropping gems in these YouTube streets. The lawyer voice, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Get your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, we're about to get into some nefarious things this morning. Okay, we absolutely are. So listen, hey, most hated bronze flat power God, Pearly is in the house, just anticipate. Okay, God Wendell Blunt is here, Softney Love, Nene is in the house. Okay, shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And shout out to my moderators putting in work. Hey, Jeff ATL, we the people, Claudette. All right, let's get into it. Melanin A1. Okay. Lynn is here. All right. Deronda's in the house. Dragon Lily. Where's my darn moderators? I see you, Mel. Okay, my moderators are sorry. I'm sitting here shouting them out, and where are they? Hey, Edward. Okay, so let's get into it, beloveds. Listen, I'm about to go turn off this water because I'm making my tea. And so while I'm doing that, you all check out this brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Make sure you place your order.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
And so don't forget, you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and she also sells beard oil. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it, honey. This is all crazy. Y'all, hold on for a second. Okay, so first of all, Kash Patel is testifying this morning. We're going to listen to some of that if I can stomach it. But he's testifying about the shooting of Charlie Kirk and I guess the bumbling idiots that he and the rest of the FBI acted as during the investigation. Okay, so but before we get into that, hold on. D Money says, Queen, did anyone seen they let a grieving widow talk for an hour better or better? I never seen such a thing. You're talking about Charlie Kirk's wife. I think she probably, when she gave her speech, was probably like 20 minutes, almost at 20 minutes. But at the end of the day, I just didn't understand that. It was too soon for me. And all that kissing on the corpse and all that stuff, that was just kind of cringe. That, in my opinion, should have been done privately. Okay. Some people were just kind of weirded out. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, let's get into this because y'all, we have a lot. Demonic said she was on Fox. Oh, really? Okay, well, I didn't see that. Okay, so let's talk about this student down in the Delta, okay, at Delta State University. This student who was found deceased. And the police want us to actually believe that it was in fact an suicide. Isn't that what they always say? Let me tell y'all something. These people do not care about racism in this country. They don't do anything to try to quell hate crimes. They don't do anything, okay, as far as I'm concerned. And at the end of the day, them lying every time a black man is found hanging from a damn tree and acting like he did it to himself is absolutely asinine. Now, here's the thing. The cousin of this young man had a whole lot to say. We're going to hear what he had to say. And also for another thing, there were reports that the young man who was found, and his name is Demartravian Reed, and they call him Trey or Trayvon. But this young man, you see, the thing about it is people reported that he was in fact found with his leg broken and both arms broken. But then the coroner's report came out and said, oh, no, that's not, we didn't see any broken limbs. Well, they're lying. Okay, you know, they're lying. Yes, they absolutely are. Please pay attention. These people are always lying when it comes to lynchings. It's always an suicide. Ain't no black person in this damn country hanging themselves from no tree. That's what they're not doing. Why would any black person disrespect themselves by hanging themselves from a tree, taking their life in a manner in which they know that wanton supremacists, Klansmen, okay, and neo-Yazis have taken plenty of our people out in. So why would they do the same? You see how stupid that is? That would be like someone from the Orthodox community doing something that their oppressor did to them. Okay, if they wanted to leave here. And we all know that doesn't make any sense, and nobody would ever come out and try to make us think that's what happened because they know we wouldn't believe it and they know nobody else would. But they don't care what black people think and how we feel. So they'll tell us any damn thing and be like, oh, just deal with it or not. Okay, because we said there was no evidence of foul play, and we said that it looks like it was self-done. And let me tell you something, how you know they're full of ish. Because the coroner, let me go to my video. Hold on, because the coroner who reported on this, he was flat out lying. Okay, that's what he was doing. He was flat out lying. The second coroner, because he comes in talking about, you could tell he had a whole attitude because he was like, how did he put it? He was saying something along the lines of, it was self-done. Now, mind you, when I did my TikTok video, I had to proceed with caution. Okay, because you know they changed the community guidelines on TikTok, honey, and you say the wrong thing, and oops, you're out of there. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to pull up this video and then we're going to get into it. And I want you all to really hear what the cousin said, because the cousin seems to think, or not think, he knows that this kind of stuff happens there all the time and nothing's ever done about it. That's what he said. Okay, so let's get into it. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. That's right, Shannon. Shannon said that's how they unalived Jesus. Exactly. When they slew Jesus and hung him from a tree. I know they taught y'all it's the cross, but if you read in the Bible, it says he was hung from a tree. That's why they hang black men from trees. If y'all didn't know, Jesus too was black. Please pay attention.
I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. There was a student found swinging from a tree at Delta State University this morning. Now, police are so far saying that there's no reason to suspect foul play. Okay. And there are some people who disagree and think that this is a whole hate crime. So let's get into it. They say staff reportedly found the body hanging from the tree this morning in the middle of campus. This has set off a wave of fear and mourning, and they've canceled plenty of the centennial events for this 100-year-old campus. Please pay attention. Now, approximately 7:05 this morning, that's when the university police were notified that there was supposedly the body of a man of my skin tone hanging from a tree. And this was near Central Campus by the DSU pickleball course. University Chief of Police Michael Pillar identified the student as Demartravian Reed of Grenada, Mississippi. Now, reports say that Bolivar County Deputy Coroner Murray Rourke assisted his colleague, Deputy Coroner Dwayne Proctor, in examining Reed's body. He said that he found no evidence of broken bones or limbs or anything like that, despite some rumors on social media saying that both of his arms were broken. Please pay attention. Now, after Rourke made those comments, he refused to comment any further, saying that it was an ongoing investigation and that basically he saw no broken limbs. He repeated that and said that, in his opinion, it was self-done, and said that he had reasons for thinking so. Now, with that all being said, I absolutely disagree. I don't know what actually happened to this young man, but I don't think that he did this to himself. I just don't think that with the history of things that happen to people who look like me in this country, that someone of my skin tone, specifically a male of my skin tone, would put themselves in a tree. Okay, that's just what I don't think. But hey, that's just my opinion. They say the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is helping with the investigation. Okay, they're assisting, but no further details will be put out until the autopsy has been completed. Okay, please pay attention. So I just wonder if this has anything to do with the passing of Charlie Kirk, because there's been a whole lot of strange things going on. HBCU campuses being threatened. There was Jesse Waters calling for retaliation and all kinds of things. There's Elon Musk with the crazy comments that he made, talking about, you know, people have to fight, and then talking about people dying and all of that stuff or whatever. And, you know, it's just a whole lot of tensions. And it seems like some people are trying to spark some type of outrage, you know, to get people into some sort of situation, okay, that isn't good for anybody. That's just what it seems like to me. So, but anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you all again soon. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. There was a student found swinging from a tree at Delta State University this morning. Now, police are so far saying that there's no reason to suspect foul play. Okay, and there are some people who disagree and think that this is a whole hate crime. So let's get into it. They say staff reportedly found the body hanging from the tree this morning in the middle of campus. This has set off a wave of fear and mourning, and they've canceled plenty of the centennial events for this 100-year-old campus. Please pay attention. Now, approximately 7:05 this morning, that's when the university police were notified that there was supposedly the body of a man of my skin tone hanging from a tree. And this was near Central Campus by the DSU pickleball course. University Chief of Police Michael Pillar identified the student as Demartravian Reed of Grenada.
Hold on, beloved. Okay, my apologies, beloved. I'm sorry. Did I make you all listen to that twice? Did I let you all listen to that twice? I'm sorry, because I was clearly preoccupied. I was looking at this video on my phone, trying to decide whether or not I was going to play it for you all. Okay, but I'm not, because he said a bunch of stuff. Okay, sorry, beloveds. Okay, sorry. But the guy said a bunch of stuff about Charlie Kirk that's clearly problematic, and he got 1 million views. They're probably gonna end up firing him from his job. Please pay attention. Okay, DJ Big Six said, I believe this was an inside job. Of course it was. I absolutely believe it. So with that all been said, you know, condolences to the family of this young man who passed away, Demartravian, also known as Trayvon or Trey Reed. Okay, this is very sad at the end of the day. Very, very sad. Now, they had a press conference about it, so let's go to that and see what they're talking about. I'm sure it's a bunch of lies. I'm pretty sure it's a bunch of lies, okay? Here we go. Is this it right here on Facebook? I think this is it. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. This ain't it. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, here we go. This is a short press conference, honey. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Honey, you know they're not giving too much information. Please pay attention. Okay? Less than 5 minutes for a press conference. Make it make sense.
Authorities have identified the individual as Demartravian, that is Trey Reed, a Delta State University student from Grenada, Mississippi. Our community is deeply saddened by this loss. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends and all those who were impacted by Trey's loss. I have spoken to Trey's family and expressed our heartbreak. Counselors and support services are available to students through the O.R. Riley Counseling Center. Faculty and staff services are available through Human Resources here at Kent Wyatt Hall. The Sillers Chapel remains open for prayer, and we are in conversations with student leaders regarding the prayer service as a result of this event. The university will share updates when appropriate, and we ask for your compassion, patience, and thoughts during this difficult time. All inquiries concerning the investigation will be directed to law enforcement. Our University Police Chief, Michael Peeler, will now make a statement.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Peeler, the DSU Director of Public Safety and Chief of Police. Delta State University is deeply saddened to confirm the deceased individual was discovered on our campus this morning. At approximately 7:05 a.m., the university police was notified of what appeared to be the body of a black male hanging from a tree central campus near the DSU pickleball courts. We later identified the male subject to be 21-year-old Demartravian Reed of Grenada, Mississippi. Mr. Reed's next of kin has been notified. At this time, there's no evidence of foul play. While there's no evidence of foul play, the body has been retrieved by Bolivar County Coroner's Office. As you can see behind me, I've requested the assistance of the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Bolivar County Sheriff's Office, and Cleveland PD to assist us in this ongoing investigation. As we receive updates, we will be sure to properly notify through proper channels of any information that we receive. Are there any questions at this point?
Can you say what action was taken on campus? Was it lockdown?
What had happened, we immediately came on. It wasn't a lockdown during the time of day, but we, of course, again, with our partners, we've investigated every avenue, and again, we continue to investigate, but there was no lockdown announced at this point, other than the fact that several events that were scheduled for today were canceled.
There are quite a few rumors circulating on social media. What can you put to rest?
Again, it's an ongoing investigation. We do know that, again, a young male student, who's actually a student here, was found, his body was discovered hanging from a tree. But pending an investigation, further investigation, and also from the medical examiner's office, we won't have more information until that part has been done.
Chief, President Dennis, will classes resume tomorrow as usual, or have you determined that?
We've not determined that. My leadership will meet this afternoon. We will make a decision on classes and other events going on the rest of this week. But I want to reiterate Chief Peeler's comment. There is no evidence of a threat to campus, and there's no evidence that the campus is unsafe at this point. So I expect we will resume normal operations as soon as possible.
All right. Just want to confirm, this is a safe campus. Delta State University is a beautiful place to be. It's just unfortunate this loss that comes heavy to our campus, but it's
Your raccoon self up talking about it's a safe campus and it's beautiful. No, it's not. It ain't safe for Black people, clearly. If y'all find that people hung in a tree randomly, and that's not the first time. I want y'all to pay attention. And here's the thing, stuff like this really ticks me off. Okay, this really ticks me off. First of all, if I worked there, first of all, I wouldn't, because I would never live in Mississippi. It's too darn racist. I don't know why there's any Black people still there. At the end of the day, those Black students need to quit that campus. They need to go and transfer to another college. Because here's the thing, this dude's cousin, Travion's cousin, who I'm going to play in just a second, he says that this is an ongoing thing down there in Mississippi with racial issues. And we know that it is. But isn't that where they lynched Emmett Till so long ago in 1955? With that being said, those Black students, here's the thing, if they allow things like that to happen on campus and refuse to do anything about it, well, I wouldn't go there. I would never attend a college where I didn't feel safe and where I felt like the people there didn't care about my safety. That's what I wouldn't do, okay? That's what I wouldn't do. I would never want to go to a college like that. And if all the Black students just transferred elsewhere, well, I'm pretty sure they'd have to close down. Okay? I'm pretty sure they'd have to close down. So anyway, honey, this is all crazy. So let me go to this young man's video. This is Travion's cousin, and he knows that it's all a whole load of BS. So let's get into it.
Forget all the Charlie Kirk situation right now. Let's go down to Mississippi. The name Trayvon Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now. One, that is my cousin. Two, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. I went on a 9-month probation, and that's it. This year, just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms were broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm gonna let y'all do the math. Now, this school has history for being racist.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. He said that his cousin told him that the report said that he had a broken leg and broken arms. So why is the coroner telling a damn lie? The coroner said that there were no broken limbs and that in his belief, it was self-done. You know why they're lying, the coroner that is, and saying this young man's legs and arms weren't broken? Because if his leg and his arms are broken, how in the hell did he hang himself from a damn tree? Okay, that's why. That's why. And also, when these instances happen, it's always nonsensical. Okay, if you all remember Ye down there in Ferguson, when all the stuff was going on about Michael Brown, one of the female activists who was one of the people that started up that whole movement down there, her son Ye, and you all remember I reported on this, her son Ye was found hanging from a tree in her backyard. Other activists down there in Ferguson, like Darren Seals, they were all lynched. Okay, they weren't hanging from trees, but they were shot in their heads, in the back of their cars set on fire. Different things were done to them. They all turned up dead, about 5 or 6 of them. Y'all think that's a coincidence? No, they were murdered, and I believe it was by the police. And that young man that was found hanging in the tree, I guess they figured they'd kill him instead of his mother. But they did that to hurt her, of course. He was hanging in the tree about 20 feet from the ground. with his pants pulled down to his ankles and his hands tied behind his back. But they ruled it an suicide. Okay? I want you all to pay attention to that. There was another young man who died in his semi-truck. Okay, he didn't die, he was killed in his semi-truck. Okay, his hands were handcuffed behind his back. He was beaten and bruised. There were footprints and all kinds of dents in the dashboard of his truck, as though he had been fighting and kicking and screaming, probably trying to get free. But they want us to think that Black men are hanging themselves from trees. Yeah, they can miss me with all of that BS. This is why I hate this country. And don't say, oh, if you hate this country, why don't you go somewhere else? I'm not going any damn where, because I was born here. But I can still hate this country. I hate the racist devils that dwell within it and the wanton system of supremacy. That's what I hate. But let's continue.
Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in, I love to refer to that situation because that was one of the significant situations that happened with one of the Black revolts that happened at this school. But still, I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about. It was incidents before my incidents, my big incident happening that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this.
Let me tell you all something. Did you all hear that? He said it was a bunch of white men in a truck that followed him, in a white truck, to be specific. Isn't that exactly what Rasheem Carter, before he was lynched down there in Lawrenceville, Mississippi, didn't he tell his mother the same damn thing? Didn't he call his mother and tell her that he was being followed and harassed by a group of white men from his job in a white pickup truck? They were following him. But they want to act like these things are all made up. Let's continue.
Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug.
5 times in one night, okay? 3 of them.
Enough is enough. It is 2025, and bullshit after bullshit after bullshit is still getting fed to us. Enough is enough. We gotta wrap it up.
Darn shame. Condolences and prayers to that young man and his family. Okay, once you lose a family member, you can never get it back. I heard people donated money to his family, and that's good and all, but that can't bring back a loved one. That's absolutely egregious. Okay, that's absolutely egregious. All right. I just have a feeling that one of these days, sometimes some people are going to start crashing out. All right, and it ain't going to be pretty. I'll tell you that. So with that all been said, now let's get into this. Because Charlie Kirk, I want you all to see this. This is Charlie Kirk. They want us to think that Charlie Kirk was the epitome of Dr. King. Please. Okay, here's who Charlie Kirk really was. And also, I don't even understand why they're trying to compare this man to Dr. King, because Charlie Kirk didn't even really care for Dr. King. Why wouldn't they, compare him to someone who he actually liked, like Rush Limbaugh? Candace Owens was a good friend of his. She did a broadcast about him a couple of days ago, dedicated to him, and I watched it. And she basically talked about how Charlie wanted to be like Rush Limbaugh. Now, I just don't understand why in the hell they don't compare him to Rush Limbaugh instead of Dr. King. Because he didn't like Dr. King or the civil rights movement. He thought it was a mistake. So why in the hell aren't they comparing him to one of his own people whom he revered, like Trump? I have several questions. He was nothing like Dr. King. He's more like Trump. He's more like President Trump and Rush Limbaugh. And what's the other dude's name that got fired from Fox? Tucker Carlson. Okay, Nick Fuentes. If they really, really wanted to honor him, they should compare him to his people who act just like and thought and had the same ideology as him. Okay, that's what they should do. I'm just saying. There's nothing wrong with being compared to Trump if you revere him. Okay, and y'all were so close. There's nothing wrong with being compared to Rush Limbaugh if you revered him. Right? When I leave here, y'all compare me to Maya Angelou. Okay, that's who y'all can compare me to. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm giving you permission. You all can compare me to Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou. All right? Or Sojourner Truth. Because that's what I be out here telling. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to this video right here that I saw of Charlie Kirk that really ticked me the hell off. This is one of the reasons I absolutely did not like him. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Times in one night, okay? 3 of them by Trump supporters.
What happened to you?
I was just walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me, MAGA apparel, everything, you know. They drove past me.
Hear how his story starts off? A truck full of white men. This is a common thing. Because see, the thing about it is they're too cowardly, these racist people, they're too cowardly to confront a black man by himself. There's always a group of them with guns. Let's not forget about Ahmaud Arbery. It took 3 of them to take him out. Please pay attention. And then they had the nerve to cry and whine and grovel because he fought back for his life. Do y'all remember that? The nerve of Travis and Gregory, okay, the McMichaels. Do y'all remember that? How they said that he attacked Travis? He was fighting for his life, you idiot. You had the gun. He was unarmed. And he was minding his own black business when he was attacked. But let's continue.
And they were like, you bend over.
So they said the N-word on campus to you?
Well, yes.
Okay, so what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Threatening to rape you is an intent of a crime. Did you go to the police? You file a police report? You hire an attorney? You sue the school? Did you go to the civil rights office? Do you file a civil rights complaint? Did you do any of that? Because you should.
Okay.
No, did you? Tell me. Yes or no?
I did not. But
why?
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, but you're coming in.
He probably didn't report it because no one would have done a darn thing. Just like they didn't do a darn thing when Rasheem Carter went to the police and told them that the group of white men in the white truck were following and harassing and threatening him. Then he turned up dead because the police did nothing. They wouldn't even let him stay at the police station to be safe. That's why he did report it, Charlie Kirk.
In front of 2,000 people to say it. Why did you not go to the university and say this happened?
Next instance, they threatened to rape me and then just drove.
Hold on, let me answer this question. Pretty Wing says, why is he so confrontational? Well, I'm glad you asked, beloved. He's confrontational because that's what racist people do when you confront them or speak to them about racism. They want to be in a constant and perpetual state of denial that it even exists, as if they dare to be racist. Okay? They think if they're not burning a cross in your yard or purposely or blatantly calling you the N-word, okay, that they're not racist. That's what they want you to think. Racism comes in all type of ways, microaggressions, blatantly, underhandedly, I mean, all kinds of ways. So with that all being said, yeah, he's hostile and confrontational because he doesn't like where the conversation's going. He doesn't like what the young man's saying, and he doesn't want to believe it. And even if he does believe it, which he damn sure does, because he knows that's what people like him do, or the people that act like they, you know, people who don't like black people, he knows that's what they do. They go around and harass you and do hate crimes. He knows that's what they do. But he's not going to admit that because he's in front of a group of them. I guarantee you everybody in that crowd doesn't really care too much about black folk. Okay? I'm not going to say everybody, but I'll say at least 90%. So he's not going to piss off his base by daring to hold people like himself accountable. See, Charlie Kirk had no problem holding black people accountable and calling out our BS. And some of the things he said about us were true, but it was also true of his people. Okay, when he talked about black on black crime, well, there's something also called white on white crime if we want to go there. And what happened to him, in fact, was white on white crime. Okay? And in fact, I do believe that there's likely more white on white crime than black on black. But they're not going to tell you that ever. That's what they're not going to tell you. So, it probably would have made him go down a little bit better in history if he hadn't been so critical and so disrespectful to Black people, immigrants, trans people, LGBTQ people. And maybe if just maybe he also, at the same time he was going in on all of those different groups of people, that maybe he held his people accountable too. Okay? Because that's what made it hate. You see, if you're talking about your people and other people, and you're talking about the disparaging things or the bad things about all of the people, including yourself and your people, well, that's not really so bad because you're just calling out the BS. But if you're sitting there talking about all these other groups of people, pointing out the flaws and the negativity about them, but you have nothing but good things to say about your people, that means you think your people are superior. That means you're a wanton supremacist. That means you think that your people are better than everybody else. And that is what racism is all about. Okay, that's what racism is all about. And especially when you're someone who has power and prestige and contacts and connects, and you can make certain things happen or not. Okay? Now, let's continue.
Well, hold on. So a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
I'm going to show you the university official, and why don't you go file a Department of Education complaint, and let's find these terrible people that did this to you. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think about
and by the way, we'll be able to look at security camera footage, and we'll see.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But you didn't do that.
Can I try to finish?
You'll think about it. Hold on. Why wouldn't you want to do that immediately? No, honestly, I think you're Jussie Smollett at this campus. I think you're completely making this whole thing up. I think you are a complete liar, because I am now giving you an opportunity to report this at the high. I will bring this to Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education, the federal government. I will make sure these people are arrested by Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. And you'll say, oh, I'll think about it. Because you're making this up. You're doing this for a political purpose. So will you? No, seriously.
Do you all understand how arrogant of a person and narcissistic you have to be to tell someone who's talking to you in a kind tone, not disrespecting you at all, not raising their voice, not cursing? You can tell that he doesn't like this young man. You know why he doesn't like this young man? I just wonder, is it because he's Black, or is it because he's gay, or is it because he's both? Okay, I have several questions, because why is he talking to this young man so recklessly and then telling him to his face that he's lying and making it up? He doesn't know if that young man is making it up, and I doubt that he is. I doubt that he is. But he's sitting there telling him to his face. Imagine being a victim of a crime, specifically a hate crime or an S assault, and you're telling the absolute truth. And someone is sitting there in your face telling you that you're lying. You're making it all up. Okay? Yeah, Timothy said because he hates the truth. Exactly. Greta Lee said attack the victim is their strategy. Exactly. Okay? So, at the end of the day, this is just all a hot mess.
Kash Patel will get involved. Yes? It's a hate crime. That's not acceptable. Will you do this or not?
That's really cute, Charlie, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity to alleviate hate within this group of people who have a shared ideology.
But hold on a second. There's no hate. There's just love of America here in this audience. That's all that's here today.
Notice he said there's no hate. There's just love of America. Now, I'm sure that we all know, as melanin-drenched people, that love of America equates to racism. Because we know that all these people that are racist, all they talk about is how much they love the country, how much they love patriotism, how much they love the flag. Isn't that all they talk about? But what they don't love is people who look like me. But let's continue.
Okay? That's all that's here.
And here's the thing. You know, Candace said that he was her good friend, and I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was. And she probably thinks that if someone is friends with her and they don't look like her, then they're not racist. That's probably what she thinks. But here's the thing. Racist people can tolerate Black people who spew their own racist rhetoric. They can tolerate the Black people who have the same ideological beliefs as them. They can tolerate Black people who let them just walk over them. That's what they can do. Okay? Doesn't mean they're not racist. That's what it doesn't mean. All right? And here's the thing. These people walking around here mad at Black people, wanting to do harm, people getting lynched on campuses all of a sudden. Y'all think that's coincidence? See, we just had people threatening HBCUs days ago, right after Charlie's assassination. Okay, I'm not going to call it an assassination, his murder, because it wasn't an assassination. Assassination is usually reserved for people involved in politics, and he wasn't in anyone's politics. He was someone who went around campuses. I mean, you could say that it was politics, but really he had no official political title. And I also saw one of the articles labeled him as a Trump aide. He's not listed as an appointed Trump aide anywhere that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, right after he was killed, the HBCUs got threatened. And then we have a young Black man found hanging from a tree on a campus. And y'all don't think it's all connected? Of course, we all know it is. And there's probably going to be more. Do you all know that a Caucasian man was arrested for threatening to murder Black preschool kids? How many of you knew that? One's in the chat. How many of you knew about that story? That a Caucasian man was arrested for threatening to unalive little Black preschool children. Did y'all know that? Y'all heard about that? Kash Patel was bragging about it because they caught him before he could do it. Thank God for that. That's one smart thing Kash Patel did, I'll say. But anyway. Okay, so with that having been said, let's go to the student. Let's go to this student who got expelled from her college and got arrested for mocking Charlie Kirk. That's right, you heard it. That's what I said. She not only got expelled from school, but she got fired. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to show you the video of what she did to make her get fired, or not fired, to make her get arrested and then get expelled from school. But here's the thing about her. This is a Black person, and I see Black people doing this all too often. Black people are so emotional. It's easy to trigger Black people, and wanton supremacists know this. They know they can say something to tick you off and you're going to act out of character or crash out, and then you're going to jail. How many times have I talked to you all about that? How many times have I talked to you all about that? Plenty. That's why they'll call you the N-word. They'll say all kinds and do all kinds of things. They don't care if you put hands on them because they know you're going to jail anyway. And they'll take that whipping just so you can go to jail in some cases. You see, that's why I don't get involved. This young woman right here, to me, here's what her mistake was. Standing there arguing with a bunch of racists. I don't argue with racists. In fact, I don't even hold conversations with them, okay, unless it's pertaining to business. Like if I work with them or something like that and have a need to speak to them, but talking to them on a regular basis or just talking to them out in the open or whatever for just casual conversation, no. For what? I have nothing in common with a racist. I'm not a hateful person. Okay, I hate racism and wanton supremacy. That's what I hate. But other than that, I don't go around hating people and being mean and nasty and talking and saying disparaging things about people. That's what I don't do. I don't dislike people because of the color of their skin. Who does that? That is so ignorant. That is so ignorant. Do you all realize how much you ought to just pause for a second? Okay, pause for a second. We know how long racism has been in existence, forever. But just pause for a moment and think to yourself. Imagine yourself walking outside of your house, going to the grocery store somewhere, and you just not liking somebody because they don't look like you. Now imagine you doing something vile to them because of that. Who thinks that way? Isn't that insane? Of course it is. Isn't that sick? Of course it is. Isn't that obtuse? Of course it is. And that's why I would never be that way. I would never be that way. And at the end of the day, that's why I don't give racists the time of day. You know what I used to do when I first got on social media, to be honest? I used to get on social media and go back and forth with racist people who were talking trash about Black people. I would literally go back and forth. And then one day I thought, what the hell am I sitting here doing? Why am I going back and forth with these idiots? They're never going to change their opinions or beliefs, and I don't give a damn if they do or don't. So why am I entertaining them? Because that's all I'm doing. So I decided never to indulge in communications with them back and forth again. Okay? You see, the thing is, they can't really make me angry because I just know they're stupid. And if I know you're stupid, that's like mental illness to me. Not that you're crazy. You know exactly what you're doing, but you're just so damn stupid that nothing that I could say is ever going to get through to that frigid little brain of yours. So why would I even waste my breath? That's why I don't. Okay? But let's continue.
Anger erupted at Texas Tech University. The 18-year-old student, Cameron Gissel Booker, was arrested for making vicious remarks at a vigil held for the recently deceased Charlie Kirk. She was photographed dancing on campus, mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. All of this was in response to another student wearing a red hat and holding a sign that read, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk." After she had made fun of him, she decided to approach him while the police were standing by. She took off the hat from his head. Subsequently, she was arrested for this behavior. She was released on a $200 bail. The Texas Tech University promptly dismissed her, with state leaders, including Governor Greg Abbott, supporting this decision, stating that her behavior violated the values of the university. This reminds us that when freedom of speech becomes harassment, there are boundaries. What do you think? Should universities act faster in such situations, or will we face the risk of being scrutinized? Please share your views below.
Okay, she brought that on herself being stupid. Because first of all, like I said, that's right. Jay Gray says she's foolish. Yes, she is. Okay, she's a damn idiot. First of all, I would not have been out there talking to them. See, here's the thing. I don't give a damn if you're racist. Like I told that guy that was in the chat the other day when he said, oh, we donated to Shiloh Hendricks because we're racist. I said, yeah, we know that, and nobody cares. You see, because I don't care if you're racist. Just like I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're Mexican. I don't care. Because whatever's going on with you has nothing to do with me and my life. Now, if your racism starts to affect me or people who look like me, and I'm there to do something or say something about it, then I will. But at the end of the day, you just being racist and you're walking around with a Trump hat on, make America great again, or you're praising Charlie Kirk, that's not going to bother me. That's your prerogative. That is your prerogative. You see, the thing about her is this. She started that. She started that whole mess because she was mad because he was holding up a sign saying rest in peace to Charlie Kirk and because he had on a Trump hat. That's his prerogative, ma'am. And now you're expelled from college. Okay, now you're expelled from college and now you have an arrest record. Hopefully the charges will get dropped because they charged her about 4 things. Okay, they charged her with assault, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. And I think there was one more. But that's enough right there. That's right. Nene said we can't waste energy on these fools. Exactly. I don't have time to be sitting around arguing with racist people. For what? It's nonsensical and a waste of space and time. So with that all being said, let's go to Kash Patel sitting here telling all these lies at this hearing. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
If this is going to be standard at the FBI, nobody can trust the FBI. You want to talk about violating the First Amendment? This has got First Amendment violation written all over it. It's one of the most revolting chapters in the FBI's history. And considering what we're seeing more broadly in terms of the acts of violence against people of faith, this has absolutely got to end. The FBI has to lead the way. So I count on you to do that, Director. Let me just, in the minute or so that I have remaining, let me just shift gears and ask you about something else you said earlier. You said that protecting our youth is maybe the FBI's top priority. It's great to hear. Let me ask you about the role of AI chatbots in that, which you've talked about a little bit already today. Are you investigating any cases of AI-generated child sex abuse material? You issued a PSA earlier this year warning that synthetic child sex abuse material, it's where the AI generates it using maybe a real kid's image, but then generates sex material, sex abuse material. You warned that that was illegal under federal law. Is the FBI investigating any instances of this synthetic CSAM material generated by AI that you could speak to?
We are investigating dozens of those matters because let me just say this. As far as the FBI is concerned, generative AI that produces CSAM, child sexual abuse material, under our investigative authorities is treated as equally as if it were actual child sexual abuse material. There's no difference for me and the FBI on this.
Let me just ask you one other thing in this vein. I'm sure you've seen the reporting that Meta's AI rules, their own internal guidelines, allowed their chatbots to have sensual, that's their word, sensual conversations with children. We've had instances, multiple instances of children, minors, taking their own lives at the behest of chatbots that instructed them with specificity on how to do it. What's the FBI's role here in investigating?
I'm not sure what the FBI's role is in investigating these things, but what their role should be is cracking down on the makers and distributors of this stuff. The people that are programming the AI to say these things to children and do these things, they are the ones that should be dealt with. Okay, that's just my opinion, but let's let him cook.
What is going on with these chatbots, with these AI companies encouraging? I mean, listen, if an actual person did that, we would say that's grooming. We would say that's child abuse. These companies are doing it. Their own guidelines allow it. What can we do about that?
You're referring to NVE, nihilistic violent extremism, and the 764. It has been made a priority of the FBI because they are targeting children, and these chatbots and these generative AI are getting coupled with actual humans who are using them and releasing them because they can do the work faster and quicker than humans can and get into spaces like social media where humans have a difficulty in engaging. And what we're doing is treating any extension of generative AI as the criminal themselves. And we have, I think, I've got to get the number back to you, but over 1,000 investigations related to NVE. We've had numerous takedowns and arrests of 764 individuals, and we are educating. This may be the most important part. I'm directly engaging with the social media and media companies, the internet service providers, to find a way to shut down. There's nothing I can do at the FBI to force them to shut it down, but work with you in Congress to find a way to work with our partners to get that shut down permanently.
Senator Combs.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. Thank you, Chairman, for calling.
Breaking news, you guys. Breaking news. I just got an email from the New York Times saying that Robert Redford has died at age 89. Condolences to his family, friends, and loved ones. I always liked Robert Redford. Let's continue.
This hearing, I'm grateful we're continuing this committee's long tradition of oversight, and in particularly today, oversight of the FBI. Director Patel, thank you for being here. There's a number of issues I hope that we can speak to. I want to start by reading something you said to me during your confirmation hearing under oath. I have no interest, no desire, and will not, if confirmed, go backwards. There will be no politicization at the FBI. Then you looked me in the eyes and said there will be no retribution actions taken by the FBI should I be confirmed as director. I told you that in your office. I tell you that again today. I'm concerned that that's not what's happened, that since you took over as director, you've cleaned house or forced out senior leaders across the Bureau, in particular targeting those that worked on investigations of President Trump. The former acting director has just sued you for firing him for political reasons. So did a leader in the DC field office. And the well-respected leader of the Salt Lake City office was pushed out last month, leaving that office shorthanded at a particularly difficult time. I'm worried that these actions compromise the Bureau's ability to keep Americans safe. Hundreds of agents have resigned. You are lowering application standards to fill vacancies. You've reassigned large numbers of agents to work on immigration and street crime, issues other law enforcement agencies can handle, perhaps more effectively with the FBI. But I'm concerned that this compromises the Bureau's ability to address national security risks, uniquely its capability. In fact, you've shut down the Office of Integrity and Compliance, which makes sure that agents act in a lawful and ethical way and reassign staff away from domestic terrorism investigations exactly at a moment I think we are all concerned about it. I also have to ask, you came before the Appropriations Committee in May and told us you wanted a $500 million budget cut for the FBI, literally an effort to defund the police. I am grateful for the work of the men and women of the FBI. They've done great work this year in Delaware, partnering with the Dover Police Department to support human trafficking victims, partnering with the Middletown Police Department on armed robbery and carjacking. And it's urgent, I think, that we fix the direction and the prioritization within the FBI. And I wish we could focus on those efforts today. But I'm seeing an FBI leadership more focused on social media clout and on political revenge than on fighting crime.
Now, that's exactly what I have to say. I want you all to pay attention. Didn't I literally tell you all that about a week or two ago? Do you all remember? That's exactly what I told you all. I said Kash Patel is out here clout chasing on social media. Okay, he rushed right to social media after Tyler Robinson was caught or turned himself in. He wasn't caught, he turned himself in. Let's just keep it real. But right after that, Kash Patel hopped his behind on social media. Greta said, yes, you did, Queen. Thank you. Okay, because it's obvious. Because as soon as that young man turned himself in, Kash Patel hopped online bragging how they caught him. Within less than 33 hours. Isn't that what he said? Like, sit down somewhere. Honey, you didn't catch anybody or anything. Okay, that young man turned himself in. And he is on social media clout chasing instead of doing real FBI work. And you know, the part of this reason is because Trump has put these people in his cabinet who are not qualified for any of these positions of which they hold, in my opinion. These people are just people who would clout chase on social media, say favorable things to Trump to get in his good graces, lick his boots, kiss his ring, and all of that. This is why all of these people got hired, because they're all Trump's arse kissers. Just a bunch of arse kissers, a bunch of yes men and women. And they go along with whatever he says and does, okay, and let him think that he's the smartest man ever. Okay? And just let him think that he's the smartest man ever. All right? I want y'all to pay attention. Totally unqualified. Okay, Lily Exit, I was about to say that, and not even qualified. Exactly. Ha! Mr. Elevation said Trump and his orangelings. Okay, we're going to listen to about 2 more minutes of this, and then we got to get into this whole bill that has come out, honey, because y'all going to be losing passports left and right if you say anything nefarious about Israel. Let's continue.
Director, have you ever ordered that an FBI employee be terminated because he or she worked on an investigation into President Trump?
Senator, thank you. One quick correction for the record. There's 280 NV investigations. I gave the incorrect number to Senator Hawley. Thank you.
Understood.
As far as a lot of your statement, I disagree with it. I'm happy to address it. But the only way, generally speaking, an individual is terminated at the FBI is if they have violated their oath of office, violated the law, or failed to uphold the standards that we need them to have at the FBI.
So those who say that they've been fired because of working on investigations into President Trump are lying or misrepresenting?
Well, those matters are alleged in litigation, which is ongoing, so I can't comment on those specifically.
Could you comment on why you fired former acting FBI Director Driscoll?
I can't because it's ongoing litigation.
Could you say now definitively under oath that the rank and file agents who were assigned to work January 6 cases will not be terminated because that's what they were assigned to do?
I've said it before and I've said it again. Your case assignment, as I was given case assignments when I was a young prosecutor, does not dictate your career or your termination.
Thank you. Then let me go to the appropriations question. In May, you testified before the subcommittee on which I served, defending the president's request that we slash the FBI's budget by about $500 million. The day before, you testified the opposite in front of the House. Where are we in terms of the budget request? Senator Graham earlier said if you're requesting more funding for more agents, let us know. We're nearing the end of the fiscal year. In front of the committee on which I serve here in the Senate, your request was for a reduction of hundreds of millions of dollars. Where are we?
Where we are in the budget cycle is we at the FBI are in support of the president's budget, and we are in support of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We've already identified tens of millions of dollars of duplicative contracts that the FBI was spending on software and private sector engagements. We've also identified duplicative workloads. So we are transitioning those folks out of doing the same thing twice over and into the field. And that's my focus right now. And the move of the FBI headquarters is also going to save the FBI $3.5 billion in the American taxpayers. So we're focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. And as I told Senator Graham, if we're, I'll go back and talk to my team, and if we need more, we'll let you know.
Okay, I'm tired of listening to Kash Patel sit there and lie, because that's all he's doing. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, he's sitting there just telling the whole lie. That's what he's doing. All right, so no more of that. Let's continue. Now, let's talk about what is really going on here, because U.S. lawmakers, because see, here's the thing. I told you guys before, you all know I've told you this once in the chat, if you remember. That's right, Z word salad. That's all he was spewing. Make it make sense. Okay? Mel says, I swear all they do is place blame on everyone else, and they honestly are talking about their grimy selves. Yes! Okay, Alchemist says semantics. Absolutely, beloved. Jay Gray said, with this Charlie Kirk incident, just follow the money. Okay? Honey, I'm going to tell y'all like this. Candace Owens knows some stuff. Okay, later on this evening, we're going to talk about what Candace said about this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Because you know what? It's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, because I told you all the other day that I thought it was an inside job. I told you all the other day I thought it was an inside job, and the stuff that Candace was saying just further makes me think so. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. U.S. lawmakers, hold on. I was about to ask you guys a question. Okay, so Mr. Elevation said word salad with extra mayo. I'm done. I am literally done. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you all remember me telling you that when they pass these nefarious bills, they do it in the dark of night when everyone's distracted and no one's paying a bit of attention? You all remember me telling you that once in the chat, if you recall that. Me telling you all that when they pass these nefarious bills, they do it in the dark of night when no one's watching, when we're preoccupied with other things like stupid 19, with the whole pandemic, okay, like Christmas or Thanksgiving. They do these things when holidays come around, and now everybody's focused on Charlie Kirk. So what's nobody paying attention to? The bills that they're passing. So let's talk about it, because it's all nefarious, okay? It is all nefarious. Now, here it is. Listen to this. U.S. lawmakers introduced thought police bill to strip citizens of passports over Israel criticism. Wow, y'all hear that? Better not say Israel. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has revoked visas and green cards. That's what they say. Now I want y'all to pay attention. So a U.S. congressman is introducing a bill that could potentially be used to deny U.S. citizens the right to travel based solely on their speech, including for criticism of Israel. Now, introduced by Florida Congressman Brian Mast, chair of the House of Foreign Affairs Committee, the bill would grant Secretary of State Marco Rubio the power to revoke the passports of U.S. citizens in the same way that he has revoked the green cards and visas of foreign nationals in the U.S. for criticizing Israel. Let me tell you all something. I told y'all it was coming. Y'all know you heard it here first. Now, there was a few other people who copied my talking points, but you all know you heard it here first. I told you all this about 3-4 years ago. Remember me telling you all once in the chat again, if you recall, me telling you about the social credit reporting system that they have in China. Remember me telling you all that in maybe 2021 or 2022 about the social credit reporting system that they have in China? And I warned you, I literally warned you that they were going to bring it to the United States. And I told you that what's going to happen, please pay attention. I can pull up the video and show the receipts. But here's the thing. I told you all that when they start doing this, they're going to start limiting our travel. If you say or do the wrong thing or piss off the wrong person in power or whatever, you won't be able to travel domestically, internationally. Your kids won't be able to go to certain colleges. Remember I told you all that? And here we are. Here we are. So I want you all to pay attention, because the things that I have been warning you about, Okay, because I'm doing real Black news media work, as Christopher likes to tell me. But I've been telling you all these things that I've been telling you all for years about the famine, about the power grid, about the need to have supplies and everything if in case anything happens. Okay, about them putting us in a predicament like the Hunger Games, and about this social credit reporting system. I've been warning you all about this for years. Okay? And now here we are. Charlotte said, yes, Queen. I said that's what it sounded like yesterday. You did. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so now let's talk about it. So here's what they're talking about. So in March, Secretary of State Marco Rubio revoked the visa of Turkish doctoral student Rumeysa Öztürk after she wrote an opinion piece critical of Israel in the Tufts University student newspaper in 2024. I reported on that. Now, the paper did not mention Hamas, but called for boycotting and divesting from Israel. One section of the bill grants the Secretary of State the ability to deny passports to people determined to have knowingly aided, assisted, abetted, or otherwise provided material support to an organization the Secretary has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. The reference to material support disturbs civil liberties advocates because it is vague and can be interpreted to include speech and anti-war activism. The Anti-Defamation League, they say that the Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights under Law suggested in a letter last year that Students for Justice in Palestine was providing material support for Hamas by organizing campus protests. Now, the provision regarding material support to terrorism poses a threat specifically to journalists. Okay, so with that all been said, they can clearly take your passports. Okay, now let's talk about this social credit reporting system that some of you may have forgotten about, or you may not have been here when I talked about it. So how does it work? Well, you get blacklisted. That's what they call it. Okay, this is going on in China right now. And when you get blacklisted and they punish you for things that for having a low credit score, which means that you did or said something, it's not about paying your bills or any of that. It's about your actions and behaviors. Okay, so what happens? Well, when you violate any of the things that they find problematic, they'll give you penalties such as travel bans. That's the first thing they do. That's the first thing on the list. Let me show you. And so that's what they're already doing here right now with this bill, HR 5300. Y'all see that at the top of the list right there, travel bans. Okay. So people with low social credit ratings often face restrictions from traveling by plane or train in China. The travel ban also extends to traveling overseas to stop people with bad social credit from leaving the country. School bans. Those with a low social credit score may face school bans for their children. Schools and universities deny students whose parents have violations on their social credit score, such as high debt. Okay. And there's hotel bans, honey. If you travel, you may not even be able to stay in certain hotels. Okay, similar to the travel ban, certain hotels ban individuals with low social credit scores. Hotel bans hinder people's ability to travel for work or tourism and limit freedom to move throughout the country. And you're probably thinking, well, how would they know that I'm on one of these bans? Well, because the stuff's going to be public. It's going to be public. And they even will shame you, likely, because that's what they do in China. Internet throttling. People with low credit scores may also face lower speed internets. Face lower internet speeds as a penalty. Internet throttling impacts an individual's ability to apply for jobs, communicate with others, and access information online. Do y'all hear this? This is what's going on in China. God forbid that all of this comes here. Career obstacles. Individuals with low social credit scores may face career challenges in China. Companies consult blacklists before hiring, and some positions in government are restricted to those who meet a social credit threshold. Public shame. Give the public nature Given the public nature of the social credit system and blacklist, people with poor credit often face public shaming. Regulators have encouraged naming and shaming practices, harming individuals' social standing and preventing businesses from growing. Y'all hear that? Now, the punishments for low social credit are severe in China. However, on the other end of the spectrum, high social credit is a major boon to individuals in business. Y'all heard that, right? These are some of the things that you could face. These are some of the things that you could face. Absolutely nefarious. Now, it's all coming soon. It's all coming soon, okay? Just like I told y'all back in 2021. That's when it was, because here's the article. See that? Coming soon. America's own social credit system. Bam. I told y'all this 4 years ago. Okay? That all being said, so let's talk about it. The new domestic war on terror, kicked off by the riot on January the 6th, has prompted several web giants to unveil predecessors to what effectively could become a soft social credit system by the end of this decade. Relying on an indirect hand from DC, our social betters in corporate America will attempt to force the most profound changes our society has seen during the internet era. China's social credit system is a combination of government and business surveillance that gives citizens a score that can restrict the ability of individuals to take actions such as purchasing plane tickets, acquiring property, or taking loans. So they can keep you poor. They can keep you poor from progressing, from being able to even leave this godforsaken country after you realize you can't be, productive here. And this is all because of behaviors. Given the position of several major American companies, a similar system may be coming sooner than you think. And what do you think they're going to do with people that commit crimes, people that are in prisons? How do you think their social credit score is going to be? Now, PayPal announced a partnership with the left-wing Southern Poverty Law Center to investigate the role of white supremacists and propagators of anti-government rhetoric, subjective levels that potentially could impact a large number of people or groups and people using their service. PayPal says the collected information will be shared with other financial firms and politicians. Facebook is taking the same measures. Okay? The same measures. Now, here's where I want you all to be careful and pay attention. When they say that PayPal and the Southern Poverty Law Center, they're going to investigate the role of white supremacists and propagators of anti-government rhetoric. No, they're not. That's a lie. What they're really going to be investigating is Black people. And how do we know that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, back a few years ago, I want to say it was in 2018, they were talking about how they were going to start banning people from social media. If you all remember, they said they were going to start banning people from social media for things that they said, basically. And they got rid of a bunch of people, including Minister Farrakhan, Alex Jones, and some others. Okay? But with that all being said, and also that's why Trump started Truth Social. Okay, just so you know, because he was even having problems on social media. Now, with that all being said, back when they were doing all of this, they said that they were going to be coming after the wanton supremacist organizations. And then the wanton supremacist organizations all got mad and came out and said, well, what about the Black people? And I said to them, because I was on Facebook at the time, and I said to them, first of all, they're definitely coming after Black people. Don't they always? You think we're excluded? That's why you're mad? And that's exactly what they did. And then they came up with the term BIE, which stands for Black Identity Extremist. And then they arrested someone for being just that. Held him in prison for 6 whole months. He lost his apartment, lost his job. His adopted son, who was 16 at the time, had to struggle to make ends meet, staying with others. And then he was finally free because they didn't have any charges. He hadn't done anything wrong. All he did was have a video posted on Facebook of him showing Black people how to be trained in firearms. Y'all remember that? So they absolutely, when they say they're going to be looking for white supremacists, no, they're not. They're going to be looking for black people. So I'm here to warn you, black people, that you better not say anything disparaging about Israel. Whatever you think of them, keep it to yourself if it's negative. Okay? But let me continue. Now, it goes on to say the implications of these crackdown efforts will be significantly more broad than just prohibiting Donald Trump from tweeting at 3 a.m. Young people cannot effectively function in society if blocked from using Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Uber, Amazon, PayPal, Venmo, and other financial transaction systems. Some banking platforms already have announced a ban on certain legal purchases, such as firearms. The growth of such restrictions, which will only accelerate with support from usually left-wing politicians, could create a system in which individuals who do not hold certain political views could be blocked from polite society and left unable to make a living. Do y'all hear this? People who do not hold certain political views. That's what's going on right now. That's what's going on right now. Anybody who doesn't go along with the GOP, looks like Trump has it in for them. Okay, it looks like Trump has it in for them. He's sitting there talking about, they're sitting up here causing all the violence and all that stuff and blaming them for Charlie Kirk, when I, in fact, think that it was the Republicans who are the cause of it. The young man that shot Charlie Kirk and killed him came from a Republican family, came from Trumpsters, MAGA. Okay? Came from MAGA. So I want you all to pay attention. They literally are talking about restricting people from making a living because of their political views. I told you all 4 years ago that this was going to be the common theme, that this was going to become a communist regime. And so here we are. The potential scope of the soft social credit system under construction is enormous. The same companies that can track your activities and give you corporate rewards from compliant behavior could utilize their powers to block transactions, to add surcharges, or restrict your use of products. At what point does free speech, be it against biological males playing in girls' sports, questioning the venom and the side effects, or advocating for gun rights, makes someone a target in this new system? When does your debit card get canceled over old tweets, your home loan denied for homeschooling your kids, or your eBay account invalidated because a friend flagged you for posting a Gadsden flag? Federal fingerprints aren't directly or on recent actions yet. The creation of a digital dollar would put an explanation point on a new social credit score. Working in conjunction with major tech companies, citizens not convicted of a crime could lose their ability to transact any business. In time, decentralized forms of money, such as cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, may be the main means for dissidents to operate, as long as the federal government doesn't move to squash them. Now, if the Fed and members of Congress are skeptical of crypto now, it's because, or its use by political undesirables could lead to a furtive effort to severely restrict or ban these currencies. Y'all hear that? Its use by political undesirables? Well, who are those? Now, with the GOP, it would likely be anybody who's not voting for them. So until and unless there is an organized pushback, our future could track with those of increasingly illiberal societies. Just last week, the British government announced its own version of a health social credit system. China's system was announced only 7 years ago. Considering the growth of algorithms and dependence on tech giants, the ability to track, censor, and eventually punish ordinary citizens will be mind-boggling by 2030. That's 5 years from now. Now, America's descent into a 21st century gilded age directed by tech titans isn't an inevitability. However, do you know anyone who would take a 5% Amazon coupon in exchange for a call to action, or someone who would replace their Facebook profile picture to avoid being locked out? Peer pressure, trendy movements, and the ability to comply with the new system with the click of a mouse combine all the worst elements of dopamine chasing Americans. As it grows in breadth and power, what may be most surprising about our new social credit system won't be collective fear of it, but rather how quickly most people will fall in line. Y'all hear that? And that's the truth. See, if there isn't any pushback, basically what they're saying, then this is absolutely going to happen and people are going to just have to deal with it. And they're talking about how quickly people will fall in line. You see, because there are some people who are not going to stand up for anything, so that's why they fall for everything. And we saw that back in 2020, okay, with the venom. We saw how many people fall for anything, don't they? Okay, so it is what it is, beloveds. I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Okay, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell. And click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And I will be back at 6:30. I will be back at 6:30, beloved. So make sure you tune back in, even if you don't get a notification. Also, please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving notifications. That being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got